News 5 on your side presents Kaleidoscope, focusing on people who make a difference in Northeast Ohio communities.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the broadcast. Always glad to have you with me. Code M magazine is one of the newest magazines on local newsstands. Publisher Bilal Akram and marketing manager Mario Houston are here to tell us more about this publication, Code M magazine. It's geared to men, and we'll hear from also the chairwoman of the Women of Color Foundation, Alex Boone. She'll share information about the upcoming personal and professional development retreat for women. On the broadcast after that, the program executive director for the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center, Dr. Janelle Vick, will share information about Better Hearing and Speech Month. Good morning again. I'm Leon Bibb. In our 18th year on this show, I should add. Kaleidoscope. Always glad to have you with us, and so we begin. Beginning with Bilal Akram, publisher of Code M magazine, and Mario Houston, marketing manager of Code M Media Group. Good to have you both with us. Bilal sits on your left. Good to see you.
Good morning, Leon. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm doing fine. You're in the magazine business now.
Oh, yeah. I jumped into this head first.
well, it must have been a good jump for you. You must be feeling very good about Code M magazine. Tell me about Code M.
I am. It's been an exhilarating journey thus far. My mentor and friend Alex Boone and I were talking one day, and we were talking about her magazine, CL, Career and Lifestyle for Women. And I said, I should write a magazine for men. And she challenged me and said, why don't you do it? And thus we have it. We published our first issue January 28th of this year. So
we deal with issues, Mario, that men would deal with, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, what makes this unique as we get a picture right here and a shot of you on Code M?
We've had, as you can tell in the recent news, we've had so many different stories of men being in roles that have been bad actors. In Code M, we're really focusing on just the positivity behind men, what's going on with the man today, and how we can address some of the issues that are out there that men currently either struggle with or that men are being very good at.
Mm-hmm. That's the message that you want to leave your readers with. I mean, you're directly looking at men's issues. For your health and well-being is one of the things in your premier issue right here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that you're picking up that a lot of men need to talk about health issues much more.
That's correct. We know that right now in America that currently men they just don't go to the doctor as much as they should. Mm-hmm. We can just kind of look back in recent history of men suffering from heart disease, suffering from other ailments that can be easily addressed just by visiting their local doctor. So we really want to go after some of those issues that will help men understand what's going on and how they can be more attentive to themselves and their bodies.
A little bit of history in here too, Bilal. You got a story about Paul Laurence Dunbar.
Yes.
Right here. So education as well.
Absolutely.
About history and where we have come from.
Yes. Our goal is to deal with the mind, body, and soul of men. Mm-hmm. And the mission is to create and nurture a trusting community among men that will inspire, educate, and act as a resource throughout the journey of manhood.
So where do people get this new magazine that is being published right here in Cleveland? Where do you find Code M magazine?
Right now, you can get it online. It's a digital magazine. You can get it at www.code.mediagroup.llc.com, and subscriptions are free for the next 2 issues.
Okay, and then what happens after that?
After that, there will be a cost.
Yeah.
we're in business to make money.
because it does take, it costs money to put out a publication. You know that.
Yes.
Yes,
and you're dealing with publications which are dying now.
That's correct.
Certainly newspapers many of them across the nation are struggling. You deal with that, so you've got to find, is it a niche that you're looking for?
It is a niche that we're looking for, but being one of the magazines that's not just looking at the local market, also looking at what the national landscape is, we know that you're right. Newspapers are closing. Men's magazines are kind of magazines that are kind of falling by the wayside, unless you're one of the larger ones. Yeah. So it is important that we kind of find that niche, and that niche really is young men who we want to bring on and get that next generation of men to really start reading magazines again.
Mm-hmm. One of the articles you got, your cover story is about Hill Harper,
yes.
Actor, author, father, and philanthropist. He discusses manhood and being a single parent.
Right.
You're touching a hot issue.
Yes.
You're touching an interesting issue right here, I should say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when we're talking about being a single father, you know, for so long we've heard just the dialogue or the story behind it's important that we have the nuclear family intact, and it is. But there's also a lot of young men out there that are single fathers that are doing it well, and we want to highlight and bring those people up to, should I say, up to the forefront. Because there's just not enough stories being told about men who are doing it right, and that's really what we're focusing on.
Bilal, how often do you think you're going to publish this magazine now?
Right now, we're currently published. Our schedule is 4 times a year. And my goal as a publisher is to do 4 times a year for 18 and for 19, and by 2020 to be in print.
Did somebody come to you and say you need to do this magazine? Or,
No,
or did this come to you in a dream or something that you always wanted to do?
I think it just came through my life experience. I never thought about being a publisher, but through my life experience, through my journey, as well as men's ministry at Olivet, the church that I attend, as well as what I did for the Cleveland Fire Department as director of EAP. What I realized is when men came to me, they were broken. And my question is, how can we address these issues? How can we give men resources that they can find on their own or through our publication or our website to give them resources that they can do in the privacy of their home?
And Mario, in our final 30 seconds, this gives our men a chance to talk about a lot of issues too.
That's correct.
Men are notorious for not sharing those deep feelings that women say we need to share.
100%. My wife tells me that all the time.
So would mine too. So if we,
There's 3 of us.
Okay. So if we get these issues out, it begins a discussion, right, where we can talk amongst ourselves.
That's correct. The purpose is, again, to talk about those emotional, spiritual, and mental conversations that we need to have as men. From the perspective of, we've heard men don't cry enough. And there's all these things that are kind of built into them. So dealing with the emotions that we have behind our day-to-day lives, it's important that we have that dialogue.
You can get more information on everything we're talking about by calling 273-9400. That's in the 216 area code. Or you can go to Code Media Group LLC, Code Media Group LLC.com. More information on everything we're talking about. You see it at the bottom of the screen. Name of the magazine is Code M Magazine. Look for it. Look it up on your computer, and sooner or later it'll be out in public, in paper as well.
Sure will.
Okay. Good to have you both.
Thank you, Leon. Appreciate it. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And as we said, we'll talk. We'll talk. I'll be right back in just a moment. We'll see what else is going on here in the greater Cleveland area. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope. Back shortly. You are in touch with Kaleidoscope. I'm Leon Bibb. I'm your host. The annual Personal and Professional Development Retreat for Women takes place Thursday, May 17th at Cuyahoga Community College, the corporate college in Warrensville Heights. Founder and chairwoman Alex Boone is here to share more information about this event. Always good to see you, Alex.
Same here, Leon. How are you?
Okay, I'm doing fine. Cool. So the Women of Color Foundation is...
We're at it again.
At it again.
We are.
You keep it going, right?
It's been around for 16 years, and we have what I consider to be an extremely positive brand in the market, so we just want to continue to do great programs.
Well, we're glad to help you with that. You got the Professional and Personal Development Retreat.
Right.
What's going to happen there when you do that on May the 17th?
Well, yeah, it's May 17th at Tri-C's Corporate College, and we're going to have some amazing workshops, including my journey to the C-suite, including a young woman that we're featuring. Her name is Tyra Patterson, and Tyra spent 2 decades in prison for a crime that she didn't commit and was recently released, actually on Christmas Day.
That she did not commit.
That she did not commit.
That's all been cleared?
It's all been exonerated. And
she was not only not guilty, she was innocent.
Hello.
Which is totally, she was innocent of the crime.
And she's going to talk about that experience and what she learned and how she used her time in prison to change her life in preparation for freedom one day.
What do you think the women and the men who may go to this event as well, what are they going to draw from this entire event?
Well, you know, I think that they'll gain some life skills. They'll get lots of information that might be helpful in their career and their lives. We don't talk about, you know, career and life balance because there's no such thing. But I think when people hear Tyra, they're going to say, oh my God, how precious is my freedom. And I think that's important.
Freedom is indeed precious. Thursday, May 17th at Cuyahoga Community Colleges at the Corporate College. That's on Richmond Road in Warrensville Heights, 4400 Richmond Road.
Right.
What time are you going to start?
We're going to start at 8 o'clock with an amazing continental breakfast. And then we have exhibitors, and then we have workshops, and we have keynote conversations. It's going to be very interesting, very exciting. People can register online if they like, or they can call our office.
You say this is the 16th year for the Women of Color Foundation.
Right.
And by the way, all colors are invited to this.
All colors. White is a color for me.
White is a color. All colors are invited. This is open to anybody. And
even men.
And even genders, all genders.
That's right.
Are admitted.
Right.
Why did you do this?
Well, I think that the main reason I decided to do this was because I knew I had some influence in the community. I knew that women of color, particularly African American women, needed a safe space to talk about challenges and issues around career and family. And mainstream individuals had that. They can do it anywhere, anytime. But African American women, which is when I first started it, and then we expanded to all colors, we just didn't have a place where we could chat and cry and hug and laugh.
Yeah.
In a quiet, private space.
What's it going to cost to go to this event?
It's only going to cost people $349.
Only $349.
Right, that's for the whole day. And that's all expenses. It's all materials, breakfast, lunch, and all the workshops. So and it's free parking.
How do people get in line for this now? What must they do to get in line for this? Because obviously you got a bunch of speakers coming, including the woman who was innocent, although she served years in prison.
Correct.
Innocent.
Innocent.
How do people get in line for tickets?
All you have to do is call our office at 216-391-4300 extension 307, or they can visit the Women of Color Foundation website at www.womenofcolorfoundation.com, and registration information is on site.
We're looking at some photographs right now. These are from previous women of color events, correct?
In fact, that is Shakira Diaz at the podium, who was the person that introduced me to Tyra. I went to visit her while she was in prison, and then that's Marsha Maccabee and Ariane Kirkpatrick and one of your news reporters who was our MC last year.
That's Janessa Webb.
Janessa Webb.
She's one of our meteorologists in the middle there.
Right.
And Marsha Maccabee on the left there, who's a
longtime friend for both of us. Who should be walking in soon.
Yeah, she's usually on this broadcast.
Right.
You want people to better their lives through this Women of Color Foundation.
Absolutely. I think that, women, the world was built on the shoulders of women, and I think that we are now rising to amazing prominence, and people are starting to understand that. So now I know that the work that I've done for the last 16 years has been relevant.
And we see changes in the landscape. I mean, the Me Too movement and all of that in our final 40 seconds. The Me Too movement, women taking a stance, women in higher profile positions, as it should be.
Just like in the film Network, I'm mad as hell and I can't take it anymore.
Well, that's exactly what a lot of them are saying, and certainly is understandable.
Right.
Certainly is understandable. We wish you well, Alex Boone.
Thank you.
She's founder and chairwoman of the Women of Color Foundation, and her big event, the Personal and Professional Development Retreat, will be Thursday, May 17th at Cuyahoga Community College's Corporate College on Richmond Road in Warrensville Heights, and you may telephone 391-4300 in the 216 area code, extension 307. Get more information on everything we're talking about.
Right.
Many thanks, my friend.
No, thank you for having me again, Leon. Appreciate
it is always a pleasure. You're a regular here.
Yeah.
You're a regular. I'm trying to stay regular here, too. That sounded different, didn't
yeah.
Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
But we all are trying to hang around.
Right,
I'll be back in just a moment. We're going to talk about Better Speech and Hearing Month with Janelle Vick in just a moment. Welcome back to Kaleidoscope. Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center celebrates Better Speech and Hearing Month during the month of May. Executive Director Dr. Janelle Vick joins me right now to share more information about the Better Speech and Hearing Month celebration and about June 24th, something they've got called the Big Wheel Relay. Good to see you, Janelle.
So great to see you. How are you?
Oh, I'm just fine. I'm
Super.
fine. Yeah. Refresh our audience's a memory of what the mission is of the Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center.
Our mission is to ensure that everybody in the community can communicate effectively. We're the region's sole provider of hearing, speech, and deafness services. We provide services to people of all walks of life, and we've been around for nearly 100 years.
Oh, yeah. Well,
yeah.
Well, there's a sizable portion of the population which deals with speech and hearing concerns, correct?
It's huge. You know, the cost to the nation is enormous for these different types of communication disorders, but when you go, that's sort of that macroscopic level, when you zoom in on a family and think about, I think of a girl we just saw, she's 6 years old, she has a condition called apraxia of speech. So the things she's attempting to say, nobody can understand. And for a family, the impact of that is enormous. And for a child trying to learn in school, it's enormous. So our clinicians are able to, with her, for instance, they spent a lot of time getting her a device that she can use. It's called an alternative communication device. And that enables her to communicate. And so those types of services are critical for the community. And so we believe communication is key.
That would be what was called a communication disorder, right?
Yes.
And there are many communication disorders, right?
So many.
And you deal with them, right?
And they impact women and men. Just to sort of bring the past two segments together, it's so admirable the work that people are doing for people of all over the community. But for us, we're the one place where people can come.
Yeah, and you're located in University Circle.
We are.
As we've been for years.
We are, and we have a location in South Euclid and Broadview Heights.
Okay. I want to talk a little bit about May is Better Speech and Hearing Month. So what happens during the month of May? This is when you really push what you do.
That's right. Every month, nationwide, we sort of honor the fact that and recognize that communication disorders have a devastating effect on a person's ability to interact with their family and their friends at school, at work. And so if we focus on it, you know, you can think about disorders related to hearing. When somebody has a hearing loss, it can really be a problem and create longer-term issues. When a person has difficulty being understood, it's a problem. And when a person can't access information because they're deaf, also a problem. So we're happy to help. That's our job at Cleveland Hearing and Speech Center.
Well, thank you for what you do. I want to put a phone number on the screen, more information on everything we're talking about. We're going to talk about the Big Wheel Relay in just a moment. 216-231-8787, or you can go to the website chsc.org. /Big Wheel Relay for more information about what we're getting ready to talk about. I probably should have shown the relay first before I even give.
That's okay. It's you know,
let's look at that video. Tell me, what is the Big Wheel Relay?
So, about 85% of the care we provide to the community is subsidized by people who help us through donations, through philanthropy, and we're so grateful for that. And one of the ways that we raise resources is through this awesome event called the Cleveland Big Wheel Relay. We've been doing this for 6 years. In this event, 32 teams of adults dressed in costumes. It's teams of 4 adults, and it's a single elimination relay race, and it is an absolute riot. It is fun for the whole family. You can support us just by coming out. It's in Lincoln Park in Tremont on June 24th at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We have Flower Clown twisting balloons for us. We have raffles. We have food and beverage trucks. It is a great, great, great time. So I hope people will come out and enjoy the afternoon. It's absolutely free to attend.
And obviously we can be a kid again.
That's
we
right.
can get on the big wheel again, like so many of us.
I've had a team in the past.
Yeah.
And it is the best time. But it's just as fun to cheer along. It doesn't, you know, like, it comes down to that final 4, and it's so exciting.
Oh, you're doing this at Lincoln Park in the Tremont neighborhood of Cleveland West Side.
That's right.
And that's June 24th. What time do you start with the Big Wheel Relay?
We start at 1 o'clock on June 24th. We kick off with the national anthem in sign language. So we have an American Sign Language choir who kicks off the event for us.
Which raised the question that there's an American Sign Language. Now, is there a German Sign Language? Is there an Italian Sign?
There are.
They're different?
They're very different. So American Sign Language is most closely related to French Sign Language. And so that's how a lot of our sign language came to be. But there are many different sign languages around the world.
And I got a good friend who is skilled in that, in sign language.
Oh, we'd love to meet your friend.
She may well be very much involved with your organization. We've never really talked about it, but I just know she does sign language. But that's key to helping folks communicate, isn't it?
Absolutely. So our deaf community in Northeast Ohio is very active, very engaged. They are employed, they seek health care, they seek legal services, and having that connection, because American Sign Language is very different than English, so having an interpreter is an important part of accommodating.
Okay. So once again, the Big Wheel Relay is coming up at 1 o'clock on June the 24th, and that's going to be at Lincoln Park in Tremont, and you can call 216-231-8787 as you see at the bottom of the screen, or go to the website at the bottom of the screen for more information on everything that Dr. Janelle Vick has mentioned.
Absolutely.
I've got ties to her organization in our final 10 seconds. Before you even got there, they gave me an award as the most readable lips on Cleveland television. This was back in the 1990s.
I can see why.
The most readable lips, because I guess the people who were deaf were able to read my lips before we had closed caption down at the bottom.
Absolutely.
So,
that's right. Forget the Emmy.
I still got the award on my desk.
Oh,
That's
I'd
wonderful.
love to see it sometime.
Okay.
It's great to see you.
Good to see you, Janelle.
Yeah, thanks for everything.
Tell everybody over the Speech and Hearing and Speech Center that we said hi.
I sure will. I appreciate it.
I'll take a break in just a moment. I'll be back. We'll talk with a representative of the Urban League about what's going on there after we do this first. Time now for the Morning Exchange segment. That means Marsha Maccabee, the Urban League, with a comment. Hello, Marsha.
Hi, Leon. How are you?
I'm just fine, and I know you've always got something to say.
I try to. I absolutely do. So what I want to shed a spotlight on today is James Shaw Jr., who is the young African-American male who disarmed the shooter in the Waffle House incident in Antioch, Tennessee. And there's been a lot of discussion around the position that he's taking, because he's saying, you know, I'm not really a hero. I did it to save my life. I'm glad it saved other people, but my intent really was to save my life. And I think if we look at his perspective, we should take it with balance. We should certainly applaud him for his heroic gesture. But I think he just wants to go back to being a normal citizen and not be in the limelight and not receive all that. And I think we should allow him that.
So we have to make sure that when people do good things, and if they choose to just step back,
exactly,
let them have their moment, and then let them step back.
Yeah, because celebrity status isn't for everybody.
No,
well, I know.
You know that walking down the street, aren't you Marsha Maccabee? Aren't you Marsha Maccabee?
Yes.
Aren't you on that show with whatever his
Leon
name? No, whatever his name is.
Right.
You get that. So we do have to let people have their privacy. If they've done nothing wrong, he certainly did a lot that was right.
Yes.
So even the news media has to report it, but then step back and let him have his privacy.
Absolutely, he deserves that.
Now, those who do wrong, they don't get their privacy.
Oh, no.
If you do wrong, you don't get privacy.
No, you don't get the right to choose.
Okay.
So, sure.
Many thanks, Marsha.
Thank you,
Leon. That's going to do it for us. Always good to have you on the broadcast.
Good to be here.
I'm Leon Bibb for Marsha Maccabee. Good luck. Be well. We'll talk again.
This has been a presentation of News 5's Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland.